Welcome to So That Reminds Me, Reminder Publishing's bi-weekly podcast discussing Western Mass news. I'm Peyton North.
And I'm Dennis Hackett.
And we'll be your hosts for today's episode. So Dennis, let's talk about this weekend. We had a lot of fun at the Go Local Marketplace on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was at Brew Practitioners in East Longmeadow. We had a whole bunch of vendors there. We had our own booth stocked up, and there was plenty of beer had by many of the people that were there. It was a great time.
Yeah, it was awesome. And for those who may not be aware, our magazine is Go Local. It's a monthly magazine. It's a glossy publication, and it's in a lot of your local gas stations, shopping centers. It's in restaurants and the entryways. It's a really awesome magazine. We work super hard at it, and this was our first event. And like Dennis said, we had a bunch of vendors, the food trucks. It was just so much fun. We all got together. A bunch of us from the staff volunteered. And, you know, it's so funny because every time the company reaches out about like, oh, volunteer at this event, we do get a little something out of it. We get some vacation time. But it's always kind of one of those, on a weekend, do I really want to do that? Not really. But this was actually very fun. It didn't really feel much like work until, well, the setup was a little bit of work. Beth and I were laying down in the parking lot, chalking out areas. Lauren helped us. It was a whole thing. But after we got through that, and after the tables were set up, it was a lot of fun. And we had a good time. We all chit-chatted, had some good food. Oh my gosh, the mac and cheese.
You had the buffalo too, right?
Yes.
Oh, so good.
3 of us got the buffalo.
Yeah.
There was Dev's Mac and Eats was one of the food trucks, and they had a couple different kinds of mac and cheese, different like flavors. The buffalo was unreal. It was so good. It was so cheesy, and it wasn't overly heavy, though.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I didn't think it was. So the mac and cheese wasn't too heavy. It was delicious, and I felt like even though it was super cheesy, it was just right. It was perfect. So that was great. And Charlie's Bistro looked phenomenal as well. I didn't get to enjoy anything, but I saw a couple people get their Brussels sprouts. Looked super good. And there was, I believe, fried cauliflower, which looked
I wish
good.
I had known that they had that. I would have made a stop over there.
I know. My one qualm with them is they had a very small sign that was on their window. So if you were going to figure out what you wanted from them, you kind of had to walk right up. Whereas Charlie's, just the buffalo mac and cheese was staring me in the face all day on their big sign. So had to do it. And also enjoyed some great beers from Brew Practitioners. Yeah. My first time having their beer. I don't normally drink beer. I regretted it later, but it was delicious. The pink lemonade, per your suggestion.
Yeah, I was very funny. I walked up, Lori Perry was there, and she was like, yeah, like everybody tried this pink lemonade thing. And I was like, do you want to know why they tried it? Because I told them to try it. It was really good. I'm somebody who goes to Brew Practitioners quite a bit, maybe, I don't know, once a week, once every couple weeks, something like that. And I always get that pink lemonade. Yeah. So it was awesome.
I got the Oktoberfest too, which I actually really liked because the pink lemonade I thought was good, but it was a little bit sweet for my taste. So yeah, and then someone was telling me that they do a pink blonde or a blond pink.
So
it's a combination of the two.
I think that is what the pink lemonade used to be, and now it's just like a pink lemonade beer because it just says like when you go into like their bar area, it'll say like pink lemonade for like the flavor. Somebody can correct us if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's just that pink lemonade flavor that they have now.
Really? I think Beth mentioned there being a combination, but I don't know. I didn't look for it, so I'm not sure.
Because I remember reading on the sign that they used to have that it was a pink lemonade blonde, but now the sign just says pink lemonade, so maybe it's still the same thing.
Yeah, maybe.
But
well, either way, the Oktoberfest was great. And it was an overall good time. We had about 150 people come out. It was pretty well attended. The vendors were awesome. Some of them sold out of their goods, which was just so good to see, especially for our first event. So, yeah, I'm excited. And we're hoping to do it again in May. We want to do a spring little marketplace and see if spring or fall is the better season for us, which will have better attendance. And if it goes really well, we might just do it twice a year. So we'll see. But yeah, it was a good time.
Great day weather-wise too.
Oh my gosh,
it was probably like the last really warm fall day that we're gonna have.
It was 72.
Yeah,
gorgeous. The only bummer was it was so windy.
It was very windy.
I cannot express how many times I reset up the table and the easels from the things falling over, and the candy was flying everywhere. We were making jokes that it was like we were kids who just split open a piñata. Me and Matt Mahaney down on our knees picking up all the candies. I'm like, Matt, share some with everyone. He's stealing everyone's candy. It was funny, but we had a good time other than the wind. Yeah. Would have loved to not have the wind because people's stuff was just all over the place. But
eventually it did die down, but it was like during the peak that it was windiest. Yes, so
for sure. But it was a good time. And we had a winner for our Go Local Marketplace prize. We raffled off. It was a free raffle. The folks at Emerson Resort in the Catskills gave us a $2,500 vacation. It was 3-night stay at the Royal Suite. And it was just such a generous gift for them to give us. And a lovely woman named Linda in Springfield won. She's coming over tomorrow to pick up her gift certificate. She was a little hesitant, but she just couldn't believe that she won. But she was very excited. No strings attached. She can't wait. So all good things.
This is why you got to sign up for raffles when you get a chance, because you don't know if you're going to be the one that's going to win it or not.
And that's what everyone was saying. Everyone came up to us and they either looked hesitant because they were nervous we were going to add them to some sort of call list, or they just were like, oh, I never win these things. And I'm pretty sure she said that. And I was glad that someone who doesn't usually win things won.
Yeah.
I don't know if we had Donna Holden in there.
Donna she would have won.
Oh my gosh. Donna
she wins
Holden
everything.
Was our former payroll, and she was amazing. She wins everything. She's the luckiest woman alive. She goes to the casino, she's leaving with a couple $1,000. She goes to a Jack and Jill, she's leaving with 10 prizes in her arms. It's amazing. So, yeah. Luckily for everyone else, Donna wasn't there.
Absolutely.
All right, what do you say? Should we get into it?
Yeah.
This week's topics include Paradise City Arts Festival returns for its 30th year. The Thunderbirds are staying in Springfield along with the AHL offices. Psychedelic drug and tipped employee minimum wage ballot questions. Threats at Holyoke and Springfield schools. And we're going to end the podcast on a light note. We'll discuss LL Bean opening their newest location in Enfield. So we'll get into this week's topics after a few short messages.
The Emerson Resort and Spa is a hidden treasure located just 2 hours from downtown Springfield. Designed with the splendor of the Catskill Mountains and Hudson Valley in mind, open spaces and oversized windows expose stunning views and bring the beauty of the outside in. Enjoy spacious accommodations in the Contemporary Inn or Adirondack-style lodge. Enjoy a complete menu of soothing treatments in our nature-inspired spa, our signature restaurant, Catamount, the shops at Emerson, and the world's largest kaleidoscope. Skiing, hiking, biking, fishing, and outdoor concerts are just a few of the numerous activities nearby. Or explore the eclectic and historic towns of Phoenicia, Woodstock, and Saugerties. We can't wait to welcome you back to the Catskills. For more information about the Emerson Resort and Spa, visit emersonresort.com.
The holiday season is quickly approaching, and you can bring joy to a child's life with just one small act of kindness. The Salvation Army's Toy for Joy campaign is in full swing, and we are asking you to help make a difference. Your monetary donation will help provide thousands of Western Mass children with a toy and a book, filling their holiday season with joy and imagination. At Toy for Joy, we believe every child deserves to experience the magic of the holidays. Your support can help make this wish a reality. Visit give.salvationarmy.org/toy4joy today and give the gift of joy. Together, we can make this holiday season brighter for every child. Toy for Joy is a partnership between the Salvation Army, Reminder Publishing, and the Republican.
For this week's first topic, we are previewing the Paradise City Arts Festival, which returns to Northampton for its 30th year this weekend. The fair initially began in 1994 when husband and wife duo Linda and Jeffrey Post walked onto the three-county fairgrounds and began envisioning the beginnings of the festival.
Linda Post said that they were worried about drawing serious arts and crafts lovers from the region to Northampton, but eventually those fears disappeared. Since the initial founding, they've transformed the grounds with updates to 3 previously built exhibition buildings, a new Paradise Pavilion that was unveiled this spring, and a 12,000 square foot dining tent.
Post said that over the years, the fair has brought in visitors from all 50 states, and the fair includes over 200 craft makers and independent artists. Alongside that, the fair also includes food from an array of local chefs, live music, and family-friendly activities. When reflecting on how big the fair has become over the last 30 years, Post thanked the artists, the festival's patrons, and the Western Mass community for their support over the years.
A new addition this year will be a collaborative mural painting at the Paradise Pavilion, organized by renowned artist and professor Rick Fried. Mariah Swanson, the festival's marketing director, said that the mural is to reflect the history of both the city and the festival. Swanson said anyone interested in painting the mural does not need to have any artistic experience, and materials will be provided. Eventually, the mural will be hung in Northampton City Hall.
Alongside the mural in the pavilion, several of the other activities include one called Hot Off the Press, where attendees can create their own coasters and note cards on recycled paper, using antique blocks to combine words and pictures on a 100-year-old letterpress with Bill Muller of Big Wheel Press. And Caravan Puppets will also be hosting crafters to teach them about the art of puppet making.
This year's theme is Fables and Folklore, Reframing the Classics, which will explore classic fables in contemporary lens through a blend of all kinds of art. Classic tales like Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, and more are expected to be woven into all kinds of art festival goers will see. Swanson added that the theme is all about reframing these classic tales into contemporary art forms.
So yeah, this is going to be a nice thing this weekend. One of the things that kind of caught my eye is the mural painting that they're going to be doing with everybody. I think that's always a really cool thing where you can, especially when there's like a theme like the city or like the festival itself, where it's like everybody's going to be able to put what that kind of means to them in a different part of the mural. So I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be beautiful. And there's no artistic ability required, which is the best part about it. I don't have a single bone in my body that can draw, paint, nothing. It's not for me. But this is kind of like paint by numbers. So they really spell it out for you. It's hard to mess up, and you really can't mess up. So it's a great opportunity for everyone to get involved in the arts.
Yeah, and then obviously you're going to see a whole ton of other art if you end up going to this weekend, because it's just 200 artists and crafters. Like, that's insane to think about.
Can you imagine? We just talked about the Go Local Marketplace.
Yeah.
Can you imagine coordinating 200 booths? That's
no.
crazy.
But
that's
I think,
something to aspire to, but that's crazy.
Yeah, we would need like a space like they have like the 3 county fairgrounds. You can't. We had 25, and that was the entire back parking lot at Brew Practitioner.
Right. We were talking about that. We probably could have fit 5 more, but that was it, like maximum. But yeah, I can't imagine. That's so much coordination. Think of all the tables.
I know.
I wonder if people have to bring their own table. We got to talk to their events coordinator and get some tips. I got questions. That's awesome, though. I am excited to see this, and it's always so beautiful. I love when a city puts together something like this. The murals, Springfield has a million murals downtown. They're so gorgeous. They're so nice to look at, and it definitely dresses up an area. So Northampton will be beautiful with one more mural.
And I think the puppet making kind of display will probably be pretty cool too, to see how they do that.
Very unique.
Yeah, so there's plenty to look forward to if anyone is planning on heading up to Northampton this weekend. And the Paradise City Arts Festival runs from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on October 12th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on October 13th, and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on October 14th. Tickets can be purchased online at festivals.paradisecityarts.com. The cost of admission is $14 for adults online, $16 at the door, $8 for students, and free for kids under 12.
For this week's next topic, let's discuss the Springfield Thunderbirds and the NHL's St. Louis Blues, sharing that they've come to a new agreement that has extended the 2 franchises' affiliation through 2031. With the extended accord, Springfield will remain the primary minor league talent development partner for the Blues, an arrangement that reps on both sides described as prosperous since the initial agreement began in 2020.
The agreement, coupled with a recently announced new 5-year agreement that maintains MGM Springfield as the franchise's presenting sponsor, have solidified the notion that hockey in Springfield will continue to be a staple in downtown. Thunderbirds president Nate Costa said, quote, "With this 7-year extension, we're not just continuing a partnership, we're building a future."
Talking about attendance, Mayor Dominic Sarno shared Springfield's average attendance skyrocketed from one of the league's worst at just over 3,100 to 6,321. Paul Pignelli, leader of the ownership group that brought an AHL franchise from Portland, Maine, and maintained hockey in Springfield after the Springfield Falcons left town in 2016, noted the team had sold out 77 games since its inception, including 20 and 14 straight during the 2023-24 season.
Pignelli also referenced a previous presentation at which the franchise celebrated its estimated $126 million in economic impact, adding by the end of the season he anticipates the number would exceed $200 million.
Regarding hockey, both franchises described the relationship as healthy and collaborative. A total of 26 players who have suited up for the Thunderbirds have also played NHL games with the Blues, and former Springfield head coach Drew Bannister was promoted to head coach of the Blues in May. Blues prospects on the ice have produced 2 playoff appearances in Springfield, including a run to the Calder Cup Finals during the 2021-22 season.
Pignelli said a representative of the Blues is present at every home game. The Thunderbirds kick off the 2024-2025 season at the Mass Mutual Center on Saturday, October 12th against the Laval Rocket. The anticipated sellout would mark the 15th in a row dating back to last season.
Isn't that amazing that their anticipated revenue is $200 million?
Yeah,
that's crazy. It's amazing.
But you can tell how
$200 million in economic impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can tell because people love the Thunderbirds around here.
They do.
They've adopted it like no other team. I feel like just with how popular it is. Obviously, when we were younger, the Falcons were here, but I don't know that the Falcons really had this kind of following and impact where there's just kind of like a level of care that we haven't really seen in a hockey team in this area.
No, I agree, and they've been doing so well. Have you been to a game?
No.
Oh my gosh, we have tickets here.
I know.
You've got to go.
I probably should. It's going to sound bad, but I've been to one single Falcons game when I was like 8 years old.
I never went to a Falcons game, and I only started going to the Thunderbirds when I started working here because we have a partnership with them. So we get tickets for, I think, all of their games. We have center ice tickets, and they are awesome seats, and it's so fun. It's such a good time there. I've been to at least 3 or 4, I'd say, and every time it's always a blast. Definitely highly recommend. You got to go. Bring your
I'll
friends.
have to make
you can get 2 tickets and bring one of your friends.
Yeah, I'll have to make a day at some point.
Yeah, so fun.
Yeah.
Yep, awesome to see. Very happy for the Thunderbirds and their continued relationship, and obviously it's so beneficial to Springfield and downtown, brings so many people who maybe wouldn't typically go downtown to see it, go through MTM maybe, frequent some restaurants before the game. That's what I've done. I've gone to Theodore's before.
That's what I would do.
Walked right over. Oh, it's the best. It's so nice.
For the listeners, Peyton and I are both big fans of Theodore's.
Theodore's is the best barbecue. If you haven't been, you have to go.
Yes.
And then you can go to the Thunderbirds after. So, would recommend.
For this week's third topic, we're going to be talking about a couple of the ballot questions slated for the November 5th general election. On this year's ballot, voters will be asked to approve Question 4, which would allow the possession and growing of 5 natural psychedelic substances for residents 21 and older, and Question 5, which would gradually increase the minimum wage for tipped employees to the current state minimum wage in 2029.
By voting yes on Question 4, voters will be in support of the legislation of these psychedelic substances, which include 2 substances found in mushrooms and 3 found in plants. If passed, residents 21 years and older will be able to carry small amounts of these substances for personal use and be able to grow as much as they are able within a 12-foot by 12-foot space in their homes.
If approved, residents would also be able to purchase the substances in specialized facilities where use would be supervised by a licensed facilitator. The substances would not be able to purchase for retail use. The legalization of these substances would not affect current laws or on operating vehicles under the influence. With the establishment of the law, the state would also create a 5-person commission to regulate the use and distribution of these substances. Both
State Rep. Nicholas Baldiga and State Senator Adam Gomez have supported the bill because of the mental health benefits for people dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and more.
Speaking in opposition of the law, Chris Kean, a spokesperson for the Coalition for Safe Communities, said that the bill would allow an astronomical amount of psychedelic plants and fungi to be grown in people's homes. Kean also raised concerns over the fact that towns wouldn't be able to ban specialized facilities to purchase the psychedelics and that they could create a gray market because people would have so many psychedelics that they would have to give them to their families and friends.
In a recent WBUR Commonwealth Beacon poll, 44% of the 800 participants opposed question 4, while 42% supported it.
So to me, this is a pretty interesting topic. I don't really have much of an opinion on the use of these psychedelic substances, I would say. I feel like if it helps in medical settings and stuff like that. But the one thing that kind of stuck out to me was that towns can't ban these facilities like they could with marijuana facilities.
Yeah.
Because I remember towns like Ludlow, there was I believe it was a referendum back in 2016. Each town was able to vote if they were going to have a marijuana facility or anything like that. And towns were able to say, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And then it's interesting to me that they can pick where these psychedelic locations would be, but there's no way to not have them in their towns.
Yeah, I find this interesting as well, and I struggle to talk about it because I don't feel like I've gotten to the point of being educated enough on it. I certainly support it being, if it's really a great way for people to cope with post-traumatic stress disorder, I think that's fantastic. I do think that using it medically is one thing, and then having 12 by 12 spots in your home and not being able to control where these facilities are is another.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like I said, I haven't done enough research yet on this to know where I stand, but it is an interesting comparison when you're drawing, marijuana laws and what we're doing with this. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a interesting outcome if it gets approved. Obviously, it's a very tight margin with that poll, at least. So I'm not sure how they picked who kind of answered the polls, if it was one area, if it was across the state or what. But I think it'll be interesting to see what the actual numbers end up being in a couple of weeks with the election.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. I feel like it's not going to pass. I have nothing to back that up with. I just feel
just
like
that gut
this
feeling.
is kind of crazy. I don't know. It seems a little crazy to me at first glance, but we'll see. We'll see what it shakes out. So moving on to question 5, a yes vote for this measure would gradually bring the minimum wage of tipped workers from $6.75 an hour to the state minimum wage of $15 in 2029. Once the wages are the same, employees would still be able to receive tips, but they would be put into a pool to split for all employees, including non-tipped workers.
Frank Moselle, a graduate student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst Labor Center and Western Massachusetts organizer with One Fair Wage, discussed some of the benefits of bringing up the minimum wage. In the current system, he said that for tip workers, their salary is determined based on the kindness of strangers, which has a lot of risk. However, if a tipped employee is not making the state minimum wage of $15 currently, employers are required to make up the difference.
Several businesses in the area said that the gradual increase in the tipped minimum wage will cause problems. Tony Long, owner of Tribeca Gastro Bar and Grill in Westfield, said the minimum wage increase would increase their labor costs by as much as 15 to 25%.
Jeremiah Micka, who owns Union Square in Northampton, is a member of Massachusetts Restaurant Association Board of Directors, said that the increase in the minimum wage could lead to workers leaving the region to make more money because they would be making less money, even with the increase in wage itself. Long and Micka both said employees and employers are against the bill. While Long said the increase would have changed his decision to open in the area, Micka said the increase may lead Union Square to focus on their banquet hall events and close its 190-seat steakhouse.
When asked about the threat of reduced hours, fired employees, or going out of business, Moselle said every business faces the same problem. He added that the burden of these problems was still being paid off the backs of the tipped wage workers. He also noted that in states where the minimum wage has increased, the employees were still getting tipped.
According to a poll from the Commonwealth Beacon /WBUR, 43% of respondents said they are voting yes, 40% were voting no, and 16% were unsure or did not respond. So this is a topic I have a lot of opinions on.
Yeah, I was just about to say what we were missing in this was an opinion from an employee, like someone who this affects, but
and
you used to work at a
as
restaurant.
A former
so
restaurant tipped employee, I have some opinions on this. One thing that I think is interesting is that I got an email this morning from the Northampton Greater Chamber of Commerce saying that they're against the question to increase the tip wage. But anyways, the thing that kind of circles back to me that I feel is a little misguided is that saying that employees are kind of, or the tipped employees are like based on the kindness of strangers. That's how their wage is made. But that's just not, I don't think that's really true. Because like I had put in the script earlier, employers are required to pay employees up to that $15 minimum wage if they're not making that. That's a state law. So they're required to do that no matter what. And then I think, obviously, there are situations where an employee is not going to be making that, but then there's other situations where an employee is making well above that. And I think that is kind of where this gray area starts to come in, because there's going to be a general tip pool once everything is in. So what does it say if you have one of your big employees all of a sudden now that was making, say the minimum wage is $15, say they're making like $30 based on what they're getting in tips. Now that's going to other employees. I think that's, I don't know, it's tough for me to really
for sure
support.
And also for the businesses, like the quote said, I mean, this is a 15 or 20% increase. That's astronomical.
Yeah.
Like to have your expenses go up that quickly in, what is that, 5 years away from now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, and then going back to that with the wages, it's like, now, like, I don't know how many employees are wouldn't be making under that 15. I mean, it depends on where they work and everything, but I have to imagine that would be a big increase, because then it's like out of the employer's pocket right away, and it's not employees working for the tips in that now, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand what they're trying to do here, but things are already so expensive right now. Like businesses are already struggling. It's tough out there. Like everything has gone up in cost. So to do this added 15-20% on
top of inflation,
backs,
on top of just coming out of COVID and stuff, when an industry that was really hit hard by it.
Absolutely. It's just like, come on, we got to give these people a break where we can. We got to figure this out. So I understand that maybe this was well intentioned for the employee. Yeah, and this probably would benefit maybe to people who are at a not well attended restaurant or I don't know. I'm sure there's a circumstance someone out there this would benefit, but it just seems a little bit ill-advised.
The tip, like, I wasn't necessarily like a tipped employee. I had been a server on a couple of shifts, but mostly I was one of the hosts or somebody who worked up front answering phones and stuff like that. And we had a shared tip pool, and I think that made perfect sense. We were all $15 an hour. It was our shared tip pool. But then you expand it on to the rest of the kind of the employee pool, and it's just like, I don't know how that really would work. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I understand that, like, you want like your cooks and your kitchens or your like dish room staff to be getting tips and stuff, and that's really nice. But I think there's a lot of situations where if somebody is so happy with the chef, they'll like go give the chef a tip themselves. You know what I mean?
Did you see that happen?
I mean, it wasn't a common thing, but it's definitely happened, and you hear stories about people doing that. But
interesting. Of course, those folks are actually probably not making the $6.25.
No, those people are making the minimum wage.
So there is that.
At least, anyways, depending on
where they're working. But it's interesting, and I never really thought to do that. Go and tip the chef directly. That's an interesting.
No, but I mean, I've seen it happen where people like I know someone I used to work with at the restaurant I worked with at my school. She said that when she worked like at a different restaurant in like a kind of more fancier kind of upper scale thing, like you would see that would happen a lot more.
I could totally see that. That does make a lot more sense. But I'm thinking like your everyday down the street restaurant type of vibe, like probably not happening super often, but that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So it's definitely happened. But
well, we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be a very big push on the nose. Yeah. Especially in the next month as we lead up to the election. Obviously, like I said, I got an email this morning. I got an email last week for letters to the editor about this stuff. Yeah. So I think... And
if this does go through, I am scared to see...
I'd be worried about the restaurant industry, to be honest.
I really would be scared for that because they're already struggling to hire people. Yeah, like that's a problem. I know a business in Holyoke. What is it? It's a pizza shop, and I love it. I think Trent reviewed it once. 3 something? No. It's kind of by HCC. But in any case, great pizza shop. We love it. And we've gone it a bunch of times. We were like, oh, we found our favorite pizza shop in the area. We were so excited. And then we went to get pizza maybe a month and a half ago, and they said, oh, we're closing. And we were just like, why? We were so happy with you. And they said they haven't been able to hire people. So businesses aren't able to hire people. Restaurants aren't able to get wait staff. And now you're going to throw this at them? It's just like, that's doomsday.
The other thing is, though, I wonder if kind of misperceptions of the industry would maybe, if this were to pass, would get more people to try to apply for like a server job or something, now that it would be like a minimum wage, not really understanding that there is the opportunity for you to make more than minimum wage if you were a server before that.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on. I think this is the election they talked about Chris and Tyler had talked about MCAS last time, but I think those two are probably the two that I'm like, these are the most interesting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, certainly all worthy questions, but yeah, absolutely, like these are more relevant to at least us at this stage.
And I think they would probably have the biggest impact on our area as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so we'll keep an eye on those, and we'll be back after a short break.
Every month, Reminder Publishing's Go Local magazine features the best Western Mass and Northern Connecticut businesses, with articles on new storefronts, coffee shops, restaurants, and more. Go Local magazine is your resource to find the best businesses to frequent in the area. Go Local also features original recipes, how-to pages on festive crafts, a listing of places to go, and experiences to enjoy over the course of the month, and so much more. Pick up Go Local magazine at hundreds of businesses, banks, gas stations, and restaurants all over Western Mass and Northern Connecticut. Or check out Go Local magazine at thereminder.com.
Since the founding of Reminder Publishing over 60 years ago, the Reminder has brought local businesses together with their customers through our advertising and coverage. Over the past 4 years, the Reminder has been adding to its reporting and expanding our readership, while other newspapers in the region, state, and country have scaled back or closed. We want local community journalism to thrive and grow, and are asking our readers and listeners to support and participate. The Reminder Press Club's mission is to ensure that local journalism is sustainable and leading healthy community discussions. The Reminder Press Club is a way for you to support the crucial work of professional reporters covering the vital stories in our community. Learn more about the Reminder Press Club or join at reminderpressclub.com.
And we're back. Next up, let's discuss the increase in threats of violence in both Holyoke and Springfield schools. Over the past month, schools in Springfield and Holyoke have both on the receiving ends of threats of violence. In Holyoke, students at Sullivan Middle School were scanned with metal detectors and had their bags searched on September 23rd after a threat was made toward an unspecified Sullivan school. The thing here was there was a Sullivan school also in Worcester, and they weren't sure which it was. So gotcha. They were taking all the precautions at Sullivan School in Holyoke.
Okay. After a thorough investigation by local and state police across the state of likely related social media posts, law enforcement considered the threats to be non-credible. Superintendent Receiver Anthony Soto said the district would be continuing to follow the department's threat-related safety protocols.
Soto said that some of these procedures include periodically using metal detectors and conducting bag searches when students arrive at school. He said that some of these searches are announced while others are not. He also noted that all threats are taken seriously and investigated before determining the veracity of the threat.
While it may take time to communicate outside of the school buildings, Soto said they are addressing the immediate safety needs of students and staff. Soto said the district has a strong relationship with public safety in the schools.
Soto also encouraged parents and families to avoid calling school office lines during emergency situations so that staff can focus on the immediate needs of students and staff as well.
In Springfield, 2 threats were made during the first week of October, bringing the total for the school year up to 14, all of which have been ruled hoaxes by the Springfield Police Department. On October 3rd, a 14-year-old was arrested in connection with a debunked bomb threat made against Chestnut Middle School on Facebook. On October 2nd, a 9-year-old student allegedly stole a staff member's phone at Springfield Public Day Elementary School and called the police, falsely stating there was an active shooter at the school.
Police Superintendent Lawrence Akers said the department was informed of the Chestnut Middle School threat by Facebook at about 2 a.m. that morning, and a potential suspect was identified by 3:40 a.m. With Springfield Public Day Elementary School, police were able to use the school cameras and determine that there was not a threat.
In a press conference addressing the incidents, Akers implored parents to step up and check what their children are saying on social media and to sit down and talk with them. He added, "The last thing I want to do is watch anyone under my command put handcuffs on a child."
While charges are not being pursued against the 9-year-old, both Akers and Mayor Dominic Sarno said that law enforcement would pursue possible criminal charges against parents or guardians of offending children in the future, depending on the circumstances.
Superintendent Sonia Dinal said that everyone at the school has the right to feel safe, and these threats erode that. She added that these situations are not fair to the students, staff, and family who trust us to educate their children. Dinal did thank police and the city for their swift response in addressing and communicating the issues.
So this is going to be one of those topics we're going to direct back at the parents?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh, here we are again, getting on our high horses saying, where are the parents?
To childless adults.
To people who do not have children. But it's just, I think we talked about this very briefly last week when you were saying that this should be one of the topics, and we mentioned that one was a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
When I was 9 years old, I don't think I had a concept of what an active shooter would be or a shooting situation in the schools. That wasn't even on my mind. Granted, we're in a little bit of a different climate.
Yeah, it's different than when we were 9 years old, yeah.
But I can't imagine, like, what was going through that kid's head that he thought.
Take a teacher's phone and then call the police, like, that's insane.
Crazy. And I understand why they would be holding the parents and guardians liable for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not want to arrest a 9-year-old who probably has no understanding of what they're actually saying. No, and
I think in the report that Chris had wrote, the child was too young to have charges pressed against them. I'm 9 years old.
But it's just like, first of all, these conversations should be having taken place in a world like this. But second, I mean, someone should be held liable for this. Mm-hmm. There should be some sort of, blowback.
Especially
this is huge. It's
14 in 2 months of less than 2 months of school. Are you kidding me?
I know. It's just sad. It's really sad. And think of all the resources that they spend every time.
Well, yeah, because
this has to happen.
It's like the boy who cried wolf. Like, eventually one of these things is like, I don't know, it could be something horrible,
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just...
But it is good that they are taking every threat seriously and making sure that everybody is safe.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just, disappointing for sure. So hopefully the message has been received to at least some of these parents that they should be having these conversations if they haven't already. But there's always going to be someone,
This is why I miss the days when we didn't have social media, especially for kids in middle and high school.
Yeah, it's amazing. But little kids are getting cell phones, and again, not a parent, so shouldn't be judging, can't judge, what have you. But
if you're going to get your kid a cell phone, you got to, especially now that they're all smartphones, it's not like when we had phones and they were just like flip phones or whatever. Right. You got to really educate your kids on like, hey, like, there's a lot of stuff you can post, but there's also a lot of stuff you really shouldn't be posting.
Not at 9 years old.
No.
Or 14 still.
14,
gosh, yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's sad.
Yeah, it is horrible. And like, I don't think we mentioned it in the script, but one of the things I did want to mention is that this really disrupts learning time too. Yeah. And it's one of those things where like we have all these issues with chronic absenteeism and stuff like that in other school districts. It's like, we really need to get the kids in the schools and to stay there after like COVID and stuff where they just weren't there, and you need to, they need that learning time.
It disrupts everything. It disrupts the parents who are now freaking out because they're not sure if this is real or not. It disrupts the police, the fire, like everyone who shows up to the scene like this. It's obviously all warranted, and that is what it is, but it's just sad. This shouldn't be happening.
No, and I do think it's important to really listen to the what Soto had said about not trying to call the school office lines and stuff like that. because the school will be getting the information to you out as soon as they can. It's just they're trying to make sure everybody is safe first. And that should be the number one priority no matter what.
Yeah, that was a really good point because, of course, parents are going to be immediately calling and saying, what's going on? What's going on? But first of all, those lines probably should be open for, obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, people can't be attending to the phone calls when they're trying to keep the kids safe.
Yeah, and make sure that, like, the severity of the situation and stuff like that as well. Like,
for sure.
But yeah, I just remember, like, on Facebook when I saw the Holyoke stuff, it was all over the Holyoke Public Forum where people were talking about what's going on with the schools and all that stuff. But, yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to our last topic of today's podcast. I figured we could lighten the mood a little bit after our last topic and discuss the new LL Bean that just opened in Enfield. It's their third Connecticut location. People began lining up at 6 a.m. at the opening of the storefront on Friday, October 4th, in hopes of being one of the first 100 customers to enter, securing a $50 gift card. LL Bean employees, local officials, and community members gathered for the unveiling of the 25,000 square foot facility, the second largest in inventory outside of its flagship location in Freeport, Maine.
Vice President of LL Bean, Corey Booya, noted, while the Enfield location is the third store in Connecticut, they're the 59th retail store in the nation. Enfield Mayor Ken Nelson Jr. said, Enfield is so excited to welcome you. We've been working for years to streamline the process to help encourage new development, and LL Bean is definitely a true partner we've been looking for, and it's just the beginning of so many good things to come.
At LL Bean in Enfield, it will be home to over 60 employees who live in and around the town. LL Bean is making a $10,000 contribution to the Indian Valley Family YMCA to support their role in the community to show its commitment to Enfield. The donation will be in addition to LL Bean's over $2 million in support of the YMCA nationally since 2022.
Booya explained that the $10,000 contribution is, quote, in support of its ongoing community-focused organization promoting youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility, while improving the quality of life of residents in Enfield and neighboring communities. Executive Director Dave Coricelli of the Indian Valley YMCA thanked Booya for his generous support, stating, one of the ways LL Bean and YMCA overlap is we both strive to provide children with the opportunity to explore the outdoors, and this support is going to allow us to provide scholarships for children to access for transformative programs like day camp. We'll also provide access to programs like swim lessons, childcare, and Live Strong, which is a no-cost cancer support program.
The new location is at 10 Hazard Ave, Suite 19 in Enfield. The store is open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
I love LL Bean. I'm a big LL Bean fan. I haven't been to the Freeport location.
I have.
You have?
Yeah, so for context, I used to go to Maine every winter, or not every winter. Oh, there was a few winters we did go, but every summer, like back when I was younger, and we'd go up to Freeport, and one of the spots we always went to was that LL Bean location. It was always busy, and it was big, yeah.
You said this one's 25,000. I wonder how large the LL Bean one is, how many square feet that is. I'm going to look it up while we're just sitting here.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, LL Bean always got a lot of cool stuff, and it'll be nice that there's going to be one kind of in our backyard now. I don't know where the closest one other than that is.
Oh, this is crazy.
How big?
220,000 square feet.
God.
I was just expecting it to be like 50,000.
Yeah.
You know, they said, oh, it's the second largest, so 25,000.
You would figure, yeah.
Maybe double.
200?
220,000 square feet. That's nuts. Oh, I've got to go there.
Yeah, you should. Aren't you going to Maine in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I'm going next weekend, but I'm going to Portland. I think Freeport. Is Freeport further? I don't know. It's not really on
Freeport's not that far from Portland. I think it might be like half an hour
I'm
tops.
not getting there until late Friday night, and Saturday they've got plans, and then usually we're tired on Sunday, and then I drive home, so it wouldn't make sense probably, but I need to go.
Not Portland, Oregon to Freeport, Maine.
Freeport is further up.
24 minutes.
It is further up, but yeah, not that further up. And also, actually, my friend lives in Bath, which is 30 minutes, so I've probably been driving by it this whole time.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. So, maybe I'll pitch it. Maybe I'll pitch a
for a time you go up to Maine, you should definitely go up there. Freeport's a really cool town.
Yes. Well, as we were saying,
they do have a nice bookstore there too.
A bookstore in Freeport?
There's a used bookstore in there. I used to always go in.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. It's nice to have it close by.
Yeah.
My mom is a big LL Bean mom.
Mm-hmm.
She has like the LL Bean credit card, which if you like LL Bean, you buy a lot of LL Bean things. Boy, oh boy, you should get the LL Bean credit card because they give you tons of bean bucks, they call it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they have, it's like, I don't know if it's every dollar that you spend, but I think it might be every dollar. And she has gotten so many things from them through the bean bucks, just having them piled up. She got me like bean boots for the winter, free. I think I think I paid her $7 for them.
That's awesome.
And then she got like a bunch of sheets for everyone, for their beds, just so much nice stuff. So if anyone's looking to get a new credit card, apparently I'm LL Bean spokesperson.
Well, I was going to say, were you a LL Bean backpack kid growing up?
You know, I was.
Yeah.
I was with like your initials on the back.
Yep.
I'm picturing mine. It was pink and it had a little butterfly.
I think mine was red.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did it have any pattern or anything on it?
I don't
Like,
think so.
any
I think it
embroidery?
just had my name on it.
Yeah.
But,
My brother had a blue and gray camo with either Alec or his initials on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those were iconic, really.
Seriously.
I feel like those are today's, what's that brand? Is it Jansport? What brand am I thinking of? Jansport. And it's just like, you see those all the time on kids.
Oh, yeah.
Now, where LL Bean was like our day. I had the matching lunchbox too.
I think I did too.
It was pink with the butterfly on there.
That's awesome.
I
was definitely a LL Bean and then graduated to North Face. This is the backpack I had for like all high school was a North Face one. But
it was when I was in high school, it wasn't like cool to have a backpack if you were a girl for a lot of the time. You had like bags. You had just random bags over your shoulders. Now I always wonder, why do I have a little bit curve in my spine? Probably because for a million years I was hauling this huge bag over my
back
shoulder.
certainly hurts from hauling a bunch of books in it.
I know.
Because I'm assuming you didn't use lockers in high school either. They were there. We just didn't use them.
I did, actually.
Oh, wow.
I feel like we did for the most part, but it would be like, okay, you'd go first thing and then maybe you'd get to go after lunch. So you'd be carrying around 3 sets of books and then you maybe switch out for your last 2. But yeah, it was always such a tight schedule thing that you really had to plan. I had a dream.
We're just going on. We're just going for it.
But I had a dream a couple weeks ago that I was in high school, and I never have those dreams. I never have back in high school dreams. I had a dream that I was back in high school, and I couldn't find my locker, and I was like, I was just at it yesterday. I don't know why I can't remember where this is. Then I finally found it. Didn't know the code to it. It was a mess, and I woke up heart beating, so stressed, like brought me right back to that.
I've had those dreams before too. We're at high school. It's either looking for a locker or having a schedule, and I like don't know where the class is or something, and I can't find it.
Yes. I've had that about college recently, where I like didn't go to a college. Where you don't go to the class and then you show up for the test of the last year. Exactly. Like, ma'am, you don't go here. No, I have had that.
No, and then the scary ones.
Probably look this up, like what's going on.
Yeah, I know. The scary ones that get me though is when I'm technically a college student still, but I also work here at the same time in my current position and everything. So it's like
that's a lot. So
there's been plenty of times where I've had dreams where I've like called Peyton. I'm like, hey, like I have to work in Boston this week because I go to school.
Because this is where I live. Oh God! Yeah,
all right, I think
getting 0 sleep. Well, LL Bean.
LL Bean, we love you.
Backpacks, we will take them. I don't necessarily need a backpack, but I would happily take one.
Yeah.
Pink butterfly on the back,
or a nice jacket or something.
Yeah,
cool.
if it was reminder jackets, reminder hats, that's totally acceptable. But I would also take a recreation of my childhood backpack. Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, LL Bean's obviously listening, so.
Well, definitely welcome to the area, and I'm sure we'll both at some point make our way down to LL Bean.
I've got to get down there soon.
And I'll probably get Raising Cane's when I do.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. Well, this wraps another episode of So That Reminds Me.
Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with our next episode in a couple weeks.
Thanks for listening to So That Reminds Me, produced by Western Massachusetts news source Reminder Publishing. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, find the latest news at thereminder.com, and follow Reminder Publishing on Instagram at Reminder Publishing, on X at The Reminder MA, and on Facebook. Reminder Publishing, we are hometown news.